Vinland Saga Season 1 finished up in December of 2019. And I gotta be honest, there's not as many people talking about this series as I'd like. I mean, it's understandable and all, considering that it has been over a year since the first season came out, and 2020 was just, well, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. I'm gonna beat the shit out of it. 2020 was honestly the worst. Thousands upon thousands of deaths, huge economic losses for just about everyone, the political hysteria from all angles, depressive mood swings, people literally going stir crazy and murdering their loved ones, those killer hornets that no one remembers now, depressive mood swings, the Hong Kong protests, the eruption of the tall volcano in Luzon, depressive mood swings, the Orange Man, depressive mood swings. Not a good year for mental health, and I, along with many others, were angry about it all.
Rage, fucking rage!
But while taking a look back on Season 1 of Vinland Saga, I got to thinking, man, the violent emotional roller coaster that is this first season really coincides with 2020. So I would like to take a look into all that has happened and all that will come after. So sit back, relax, and grab a drink. We are Dino Junkie, and this is why you should be excited for Vinland Saga Season 2.
Random disclaimer.
This video contains spoilers for the entirety of Season 1 of Vinland Saga, but none for what follows after. Just basic information on the main topics that will be tackled within following seasons. I'm also going to throw in really quickly here that it would be a great help if you like and subscribe, as it truly goes a long way. A large part of my viewers are not subscribed, so just go ahead and hit that button, along with the bell icon. It's free, and it helps me beat that algorithm. Without further ado, enjoy. Season 1 of Vinland Saga is an absolute banger, and is perhaps the single best prologue to any story ever made. Encompassing all of the war arc of the manga, Season 1 provides us with some of the greatest character setup and building for a main character in manga and anime that I've seen to date, rivaled only by Berserk and Vagabond. To recap the story thus far, Thors, a legendary Viking from the warriors of Yam, trades his life of war and plunder for a docile one of peace and love. After being forced back into the Yam's Vikings by Floki under the penalty of death for his village, Thors is ambushed and killed by the Viking Askeladd in front of Thorfinn, son of Thors. We find out later that this attack was orchestrated by Floki, and is the main drive for the first season and arc of Thorfinn's story, as he quickly joins Askeladd's crew in order to be able to duel him, hoping for the opportunity to avenge his father. Thorfinn's path of revenge leads us many years later to a teenage version of the boy, whose dexterity and refined blade work place him as one of Askeladd's leading men. Thorfinn kills many men without a second thought, so that Askeladd may grant Thorfinn the chance to a duel. And while Thorfinn is incredibly skilled for a boy of his age, his experience in battle is far inferior when compared to that of his commander. This leads to many failed duels over the years, with Askeladd keeping the boy alive due to his incredible value as a soldier. The opportunity to constantly go at Askeladd's throat is also hindered due to the fact that their band of warriors find themselves contracted in a war between Denmark and England, tasked with the protection of one Prince Canute, while constantly being hunted by Thorkel the Tall, arguably the strongest man of his time besides Thor's. As Thorfinn and Askeladd's relationship expands with the Danish line of royalty, so do the individuals involved. Thorfinn and Askeladd's dynamic becomes increasingly more complicated due to the latter's heavy reliance on the former, and the value he sees within him overall. Prince Canute also steps into his own after the planned assassination of Ragnar, Canute's father figure. This was put into motion by the hands of Askeladd, who saw Ragnar standing in the way of Canute's ability to mature into the ruthless king he would eventually become. At the end of our prologue, we are met with the revelation that Askeladd's name isn't his true birth name, but a nickname given to him by his mother. His true birth name is Lucius Artorius Castus, named after his Welsh ancestor. This revelation makes clear Askeladd's motives to protect Wales and is pushed out of him from King Sweyn, father of Canute, who secretly tells Askeladd that he can either save Wales or save Canute. Not wishing to lose either as both have incredible value, Askeladd reveals his true nature and beheads Sweyn, resulting in his death at the hands of Canute. Understanding too late the positionings of his father and Askeladd, he is forced to kill the latter, forced to kill the man who wished to protect him. As would be obvious, this triggers a rage in Thorfinn, who attempts to kill the prince who took away his life's meaning, leaving Canute with a scar below his left eye. Left hollow and dark, Thorfinn is sold into slavery by Canute, ending this massive prologue on an incredibly melancholic but high note. I think there are those who struggle getting into this series from the slow burn of it all, but trust me when I say it's well worth your time. It isn't the type of thing to share with your mom per se, but it's an incredibly well done historical fiction of the Viking era. I think there are also those who struggle with the ending of the first season as they question, how are we going to go from here? How are we supposed to move on from Askeladd as an antagonist with our protagonist literally in chains? Isn't this the end? How can they top this? And to these questions I respond, look to the title. This show isn't called Viking Saga, it's called Vinland Saga. Vinland. A place that doesn't hold value until after the prologue, as it will eventually take Askeladd's place as Thorfinn's main drive. Sure, we could have started with seeing Thorfinn set off in an adventure to find the place his father knew as Vinland, but having this level of setup and the continued level of setup he will receive in Season 2 with the next arc just allows for so much more to be carried by these characters. Their interactions, their motives, their personality types, their struggles, all of this holds so much greater value having the prologue in place. And to those of you thinking about how Thorfinn's teenage years as a short sword wielding badass continues from here, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't. The story isn't about how Thorfinn continues to be a murderous savage for the rest of his life. It's just not. I really don't understand that mindset, especially when we get so much setup at the beginning of the story from Thor's, who emphasizes a life of peace, telling Thorfinn that he has no enemies. The prologue is Thorfinn's learning process. It is the tragedy he must overcome so that he can grow. There is a reason he never gets Askeladd, not even in the end. It is to highlight a point. That point being that basing your entire existence off of a futile cause breeds futility. It breeds emptiness and sorrow. It's how Thor's was able to die wholeheartedly and how Thorfinn is left completely lost after Askeladd's death. I'm sorry if you were looking forward to more of brutal Thorfinn. I know he was badass, fun as hell to watch and grow to understand, but he just isn't that man after the prologue, and that's okay. That's why it's a prologue. I'm pretty much caught up with where the manga is, and when I think back on the experience I have had with Vinland Saga, why I love it and think it's an essential, I realize those thoughts don't stem just from Thorfinn beheading people or Askeladd ordering his men to carry boats across land so that they can have an extreme advantage of war. I think of the upcoming character introspection and growth that we will soon find within Thorfinn, of the effect he has on others, both within his past and in his future. How the boy became a monster and how that monster will become a man is crucial, not just in Thorfinn's saga, but Vinland Saga as well. Each part of this story is separate but equal, granting incredible value in all that it accomplishes. Thorfinn will change, and so will the people that surround him, good and bad, but trust me, the story doesn't get worse. It only changes and grows into what it needs to be. I think that Vinland Saga's inherent dynamic ability to transform around the lives of its characters is what makes it such a fantastic and realistic depiction of humans. The humanity in this series is unlike many others I've seen. It's what made me fall in love with this series, and really take it seriously as one of the greatest stories one can bear witness to. So, if you don't wish to continue this series purely off the notion that it won't follow a formulaic battle shonen, then I understand completely. Sometimes we just want to have something fun to watch, even being able to turn off our brains at certain times. And not to come off as pretentious, but I feel as though Vinland Saga is one of those things that just requires your attention. It knows what it wants to be, and it knows to take you along with it in a grand epic, and that is why I think you should be excited for Season 2 of Vinland Saga. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Special shout out to anyone who made it all the way here to the end. Really does mean a lot. Feel free to check out one of my other videos while you're here, and have a great rest of your day. My name is Max, and I'll see you soon. Peace.